Welcome to another edition of Very Vogue with me, Val Kleinhans. I have the lovely Tori Puras here. I am so excited. We've been Instagram friends
Mhm.
for quite some time now, and I'm stoked to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Aw, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited.
I know. So what drew me to the page initially was just the kind of boho, but a little bit rock and roll, but a little like definitely like earth tone
Mhm.
vibe to your whole Instagram aesthetic. Tell me how your Instagram journey began.
Well, my career-wise, my background is I'm a commercial producer, essentially.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, so I always tell people, and they ask me how I started on Instagram. I always start with this story. So I figured I would just tell you.
Yeah.
But when I first started out in my career, I was still bartending on the side as well as freelancing. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And I met this one girl when I was working at a bar, and she was a director. She's actually a massive director now. Her name is Karina Evans. And she told me one day, and she said, I'll never hire a creative. So, anyone that works with cameras or an editor, if they do not have a curated Instagram. And I was like, oh,
Mm.
that's interesting. And she's like, it doesn't need to be perfect, but if I'm hiring a creative as a creative, I expect their Instagram to be cohesive. And I was like, all right, cool. So I totally took that advice and decided to, I don't know, kind of do some cool stuff with Instagram and fell in love with photography along the way. And next thing you know, things started picking up and I just kind of went with it.
Ta-da. Okay, I have a ton of follow-up questions. What was your favorite drink
Yeah.
to make? What was your favorite drink to make as a bartender? Because I love me a JD and Coke. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, it depends. It depends on my mood. Favorite drink to make. Hated mojitos, hated making mojitos. That was the worst. Like when you're like literally taking the muddle with the mint, absolutely hate it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah.
work.
So because you're in the States, but we have Caesars, which is I think it's the exact same as a Bloody Mary, except
Oh, okay.
yeah, except Caesars have clamato juice and Bloody Marys have tomato juice.
Right.
And Caesars also have like Frank's hot sauce or Tabasco. And
Ooh,
what's the other one? Bitters, I think. Is there bitters in a Bloody Mary?
I don't know. See, I don't really drink Bloody Marys, to be honest. I should,
Weird,
I
right?
should, I should call up my girl Mary Jo. She knows. She's the Bloody Mary queen. That is what she wants
Yeah.
every brunch. And I'm just like, you go on with your bad self.
Yeah.
What do you like? What goes good with poutine? Because I live in Minnesota, and I'm just starting to learn that Minnesota is honestly Canada 2.0 in a lot of ways.
Literally,
It kind of is like that
part of
particular.
Canada.
It kind of is, and I'm enjoying it. Like, but I love poutine now because we get it in Minnesota too. So, what would you, if somebody has like just bar junk food poutine? What would go with it
Honestly, anything.
for
Poutine
real?
is by far my favorite food on the entire planet. I'm not even joking. Everyone, my friends, my husband, my parents, they all know, like, oh, what are you getting a poutine? They always laugh at it. Poutine is the absolute best. But
It really is.
if I'm like, I don't care on a Friday night and I'm like, I'll have whatever I want, a nice tall pint of beer and a
Mm,
poutine. Like that, there's nothing better than that. And then you go home and you munch on chips or something. It's just like
yeah.
an indulging day. A pint of beer and a poutine. That's it.
Oh, that sounds amazing. It sounds amazing already. Last time I was in Canada, I was in Winnipeg, and
Ooh,
I know
thank
I know exactly why she did that because it is cold as balls there. Like most of the year. Dude, I went in like the middle of April and it was still
yeah.
20 below. And
It's
I was so like I just got a passport, an American passport, so I was like, road trip, let's just do it because for me, Winnipeg is only like 8 hours away, so I just wanted an excuse to use my passport. And I went to Winnipeg Jets game. They played the Chicago Blackhawks, and I was like, okay, bucket list item. I want to watch a hockey game in Canada with Tim Hortons and beer. And
hell yeah.
and I did it, and it was a great time. Although
Yeah.
I'm also a Penguins fan, and there were some Canadians that were not happy about the fact that I had a Penguins jersey on. But you know what?
It's
I don't even care.
yeah, honestly, regarding sports games, I've only ever been to like outside of Canada. I've only ever been to a Bills game in Buffalo.
Oh,
And
right. Because you're in Toronto, so that's not too
yeah.
far. Yeah,
Oh, it's
got
like
it.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
Toronto's like 45 minutes from the border.
Yeah.
But so I'm only relating it to that. But in Canada, like you can wear a competitor's jersey or whoever the competing team is. And it's like, oh, you might get poked fun at, but like we don't care. Like we all love each other.
Yeah.
But you go to Buffalo and you wear not a Bills jersey, like you're getting stuff thrown at you, you're getting booed out. And I don't know if that's all like all of the states, but in Buffalo, like you're rocking Bills or you're going home.
They're intense. Like, we have our Super Bowl coming up pretty soon too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And oh my God, like everybody's got their team and it's like they're so just intense about the whole thing. And you like live or die for that team, depending on where you live in the country. Like that's whew, I don't know. I've always liked hockey better than football. So that's just my thought on it. But wow, love the Canadian tangent.
Yeah.
So, well, since we're on the topic, what Canadian stereotype do you think is just a huge misconception that you would like to challenge?
Well, for starters, we don't say a boot.
About
Well,
yeah.
we don't say that. I don't know. Let's think. Let's think. I hate it when, honestly, like you're probably going to be shocked when I say this, but sometimes when I travel and I go somewhere in Europe and there's people that literally know nothing about North America and they're like, do you
Oh,
live in igloos? And I'm like, no, man, we don't live in igloos. Or
it,
like, yeah, like, and people think it's freezing here. Like, do you understand? You're more north than me. You are.
mm,
Minnesota is more north than Toronto. Like,
technically on a map, yeah, it's really really weird. Like I was closer to like most people don't realize this. I grew up in Pittsburgh, so
okay,
and that is about a 5 hour drive, I think, to Toronto. And
yeah, it's not bad.
technically, I am closer to Canada being from Pittsburgh than I am in Minnesota, which is really weird because everybody has that stereotype. Like, because it took me 8 hours to get to Winnipeg from where I am in Minnesota now. Minnesota's a pretty big state, and people forget that. But they still joke like it's this frozen tundra all year round and you can't do anything here. It's like, no, it's not true. But
It's because
yeah,
there's land. That's why in Minnesota, a lot of
yeah,
land.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of prairie, but then you go further north, there's a lot of just beautiful forests and trees and hills and Lake Superior, the North Shore, like gorgeous area. Um, so yeah, I've never like I have heard the jokes about like Minnesota being Canada's little cousin, and I love it so much. I love like there was a time where I got stopped at Canadian Border Patrol because we didn't realize that you had to like put distance between you and the car in front of you so that the
Oh,
I I didn't know like it was like our first time going through like a border in a
I
car.
didn't know you guys didn't have that.
I never really left the country much, to tell you the truth. I never really left the US very much. And in the States, it doesn't matter. You can move around freely on our interstate system. Like, yeah, there's no like checkpoints from state to state or whatever. Like our interstate system, you can go anywhere.
I didn't know.
For you, that would be, I mean, I don't know how it is like province to province if you have to like stop at a checkpoint somewhere to travel,
Oh,
but
no, there's not. I don't know why I would think there is in the States. No,
yeah,
there's
I don't.
go through.
I don't know, but like as soon as we hit the North Dakota Manitoba border, we I was like, oh yeah, it's like a toll booth. And I was telling my husband, we can pull up, it's fine. And the Mountie was like, no. And he was like not thrilled with us until I told him we were going to see the Jets. And then he was like, all right, you're fine.
Yeah.
And
Oh
but
man.
we had like I was like, oh God, this is gonna be the first country I get kicked out of. We've already pissed them off. I hate them. Like, oh, they hate me. I hate them because they hate
Buffalo.
me. But that wasn't what ended up happening at
Mhm.
all. But y'all have an intense border patrol. They don't play in Canada
No,
at
no.
all.
It's intense. We actually have signs, like on the highway, which I guess we have highways. I don't know. I think you guys have freeways, whatever, same thing.
Yeah, interstate highway, same thing.
Whatever.
Mhm.
On the highways, we actually have signs that says how long the border is, how long like the tolls are for the border. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, because it's literally so long sometimes just to get through. Like it could take hours just to get through like the tolls, like the border. It's
Wow.
crazy. Yeah.
I
So
don't
they have signs that lets you know, like, okay, it's a 45-minute wait or it's an hour wait. So like while you're driving from Toronto to Niagara, which is the Niagara Buffalo border,
mhm.
it tells you along the way. Yeah.
It's crazy. And like for kilometers was new to me. I was I was like, please tell me. I was like, please tell me I'm going the speed limit. I think I'm just gonna follow traffic because I don't know. I don't know kilometers. I barely understand miles per hour. But like I was like, ah, and then half the signs are like in French too and English. And I'm like, oh. But
That's
I mean, truthfully, we had a great time. I think if I ever went back, I would go much later in the year. But like it was it was a great time. So love the country, love what you're doing, love this little bit talking about your country. It's
I love
hysterical.
it. Honestly, that's great. I will say though, I'm going to say this: Winnipeg in the summer kind of also sucks. I'm not gonna lie.
Really? Okay,
Winnipeg,
so what is there some sort of Toronto, Winnipeg like beef going
oh,
on or
I would
okay.
say like, oh, this is I'm gonna get so much hate for this. Winnipeg is kind of like the armpit of Canada. You know what I mean?
Why do we clown on Winnipeg? Why don't we like them?
Manitoba in general. I don't it's
Uh,
not the safest for starters, so it doesn't have like the best rep regarding crime. Um
really?
yeah, there's
Okay.
I think there's like, well, in Toronto, like we do a ton of like funding programs for like homeless people and
Got it.
rehab, and we have tons of programs for that here. I think they just lack those types of programs over there, so it's not their fault. They just aren't given as many resources as like Ontario or BC. So like it's not like anyone's fault, but it's not the safest for crime in the summer. So I don't know about Minnesota, but in Ontario at least, mosquitoes in the summertime, they only come out at night. In
Oh, for us, they're like the state bird. They're everywhere.
Yeah, that's like that's what I was gonna say. I was like, in Winnipeg, in Manitoba, it's like 24 hours a day. You get eaten alive by mosquitoes. And I didn't know that. And the first and only time I ever went to Winnipeg, and I haven't gone back since, it was difficult for me because I have apparently delicious blood. Like I don't know what it is. And they murked my entire body. And I was like, wait, why are they out during the day? And they're like, they're out here 24 hours a day. And I'm like, to me, that's it. That's a game changer for me. I'm like, I'm not coming back strictly
Mm-mm.
because of mosquitoes. But I will say they have a lot of really beautiful land. Like if you go on the outskirts of Manitoba, like there's stunning land. Like it's absolutely gorgeous. It's really
Yeah.
beautiful. But
It
I don't
we just don't have time for mosquitoes. I don't think anybody has time for
know.
mosquitoes.
I don't have
Mm-mm.
time for mosquitoes. It's so
No. Well,
yeah.
so back to Instagram. How did you grow your following? Were you planning on growing it or did it just kind of happen?
Kind of just happened. And yeah, I kind of just like rolled with it and like went with it. And then it gets to a point probably when I was around like 8K, I was like, okay, no, this is fun. I'm gonna like try, essentially. So I was like,
I'm gonna put effort into it
try
now.
to do it. So yeah. And then that's, when I started like batching content and going out and shooting multiple outfits and kind of taking it a little bit more seriously. I would say would be around that like 7,000, 8,000 mark. But up until that point, I was just having fun and didn't really, yeah, I was just really having fun with it. And then yeah, I kind of took it seriously overnight. I don't know, it was weird.
Well, what does taking it seriously look like for you? Do you plan your content? Do you think about what reels you want to do?
Oh yeah, I plan everything. I'm very anal when it comes to my feed. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm the pickiest person too. I can shoot 800 photos and like be miserable with all of them.
Same.
Yeah, right. Like it sucks. Like, your own biggest critique. Um, but yeah, everything is like thoughtfully planned out. All my outfits are planned out. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's like the odd time where like I'm out with my friends and I just happen to snap like a killer photo and it makes it to the feed or slap together a reel. And sometimes those are the best ones. But
Right.
5% of the time, I go out to shoot photos or go out to shoot reels already knowing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So like my outfit's already done. I probably know what poses I'm going to be doing. I already know the location, or at least an idea if I want to be outside or inside, kind of a thing.
Mhm.
Reels are usually around, like all of my reels are either like I'll do like hair tutorials. My TikTok is like strictly hair and beauty. It's been
Yeah.
difficult to merge the two because they kind of have their two different audiences. Whereas,
Right.
yeah, whereas on Instagram, I do a lot of like food and beverage and like experiences. So I usually go somewhere like a beer festival, and I know that I'm going to be talking about the beer festival, and I go there for to shoot this reel. So it's,
Right.
yeah, everything is planned out, and I like to think that that's normal. I don't know. I think that that's normal.
No, it is normal. I mean, at the very least, at the very least, I definitely have my outfits planned ahead of time. In general, I know, all right, I want to go hit up a parking garage or shoot downtown, or I want to shoot at indoors at a particular location. I know that much. I might not know like how I want to pose, or posing is probably the thing that I struggle with most because I'm just like, I'm here.
Oh,
And
it's great. Yeah,
what
don't do that.
thank you, but I'm just kind of like standing there, like, all right, just be cool and do a cool rock and roll smirk. What's up? And then snap, and there we go. There's the photo. But yeah, the outfits are definitely planned. My car becomes my third closet, and and it is just chaos for that like one time a month where I'm shooting a month ahead of time, and my husband looks at me like I have 8,000 heads, and I'm like, mind your business. You get your 6 pack of beers. This is my little hobby. Okay, but
Oh, does he shoot photos for you though?
no, he doesn't. He has nothing
Okay.
to do with anything I do.
Okay.
And you know what? And that's fine. I don't need to force him to. I would actually be miserable if I had his miserable energy around me. So I'm.
You're preaching to the choir. Everything that you're saying is literally how I feel when I like, for starters, Christian hates it. And
Is he
I
your
don't want,
man?
yeah, and I don't want
Okay.
that energy around me. And I'm gonna take my time and I'm gonna be picky. And
Yeah.
I know he's not gonna stand with it.
No.
So like I'd rather do it myself, sit at home.
Yeah. And take my tripod and just get it done, get it here, and keep it moving. I loved your Pam Anderson hair tutorial, by the way, because it gave me such a 90s like bit of nostalgia that just warmed my heart. I had to ask, did you see the new Pam
Oh
documentary
god,
yet?
that's the whole reason why I did the hairstyle.
Is it okay? I was gonna ask that too. Like, I haven't read the book. I know the book and the documentary are like out at the same time right now. I feel like I learned so much from that documentary. I did not realize that this poor woman has basically been a scapegoat for more than I realized her entire life. Her
Yeah.
entire life, she was just looked at as an object. Did you learn anything new, or were you kind of a little bit of a fan and maybe knew most of what you
I
watched?
I knew absolutely nothing about her until I think it was I watched uh Pam and
Pam and Tommy, yeah, I watched it too. Yeah,
that's where I was like originally introduced to her. I mean, obviously I know who she is. Like I'm, you grow up and Pam Anderson is like a smoke show, but
right.
I knew nothing about her until I watched that show. And then I watched the doc and everything just kind of went from there. But no, I knew absolutely nothing. And it was so cool to learn about her. Like she's
Yeah.
so interesting. Also didn't know she was Canadian. That was a
You
shock.
didn't know she was from BC? Yeah.
I had no idea. Um, but yeah, like I heard that she wrote the book as a comeback from the Pam and Tommy show.
Right.
That's
I heard that too. And to be honest with you, I never thought the Pam and Tommy show portrayed her in a negative way at all. In fact, I thought they showed her as a woman who had serious ambition and wanted to do more, but got stifled when
yeah,
when the tape was stolen, when it got released, and everybody just was constantly making jokes out of it. I mean, she's so smart. She's such an activist. She could have been another Jane Fonda. She
yeah.
really could have been. That's how I always looked at it. So I just think it's interesting for Pam to be like, I don't want to watch it. I have nothing to do with it, because I didn't think the series portrayed her that badly, but I can understand her not wanting to revisit that part of her life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because when you think about it, that was probably like extremely traumatic. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
can't make me. I think also because I believe she did the documentary with her son, which Tommy's son. I think they like
Right,
per
Brandon. Mm-hmm.
wrote this book together. They did everything together, from what I heard. So I think if anything, they portrayed Tommy to be not so much of a good guy. And I think maybe Pam was like, I mean, this is all my hypotheticals, right? But I'm thinking maybe Pam felt bad for her son because he has to live this, and like Tommy wasn't portrayed properly. And she's like, no, let's tell the truth, even though that's her ex. She's like, this is my son's father. And
Yeah,
she wanted to like make it right. That's kind of the vibe that I got.
me too.
Yeah, like I still don't think again that she thought that she was portrayed poorly. I think if anything, she was just like, that's not exactly what happened. Let me tell you what did happen.
Yeah, and I'm so glad she's speaking. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it too. So
Loved it.
you love hair. I mean, because that's not the only hair tutorial you've done. What sparked your interest in hair?
Oh my gosh. Well, my hair's not that long right now, but for years, and I would say after high school, I just grew my hair. I didn't touch it for like 8 years. And I was
Oh
always
wow.
that girl with like very long hair. Like I would have to move it when I go pee. You know what I mean? So it doesn't like fall.
Yeah.
Long hair. And I would get so many compliments. I also have very thick hair. I never dyed it until recent years. And then everyone, I just got so many compliments, and it was like my best feature. My eyebrows and my hair were my best features. And I don't know. And I just never did. I always had my hair straight. I always straightened it, even though my hair is very, very curly. And I never did anything different with it. And then I chopped it all off. Wait, I went blonde first. And then I went back. Yeah.
Oh, I can't imagine that with your gorgeous dark features. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But I did it for a campaign.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was for the whole campaign was about like girls that have never dyed their hair before going blonde and like feeling okay going from dark to blonde because of like
Okay.
how great the products are. It was with Kerastase, which is like a phenomenal brand. And I, to this day, love those products so much. I don't regret it. It was a lot of fun being blonde for like a year, but I missed my dark hair. But
Right.
after I went back to dark hair, I was like, hey, well, I got to chop a lot of this off because it's all damaged. Once I
Yeah.
chopped it off, right? Once I
Right.
chopped it off, I was like, okay, now I'm out of my element because I've had this insanely long hair for like a decade. What am I going to do with it? How am I going to style it? And I just started watching tutorials, and turned out I was like really good at hair. I don't know. It all just started with me chopping it all off and not knowing what to do with it.
Yeah, and wanting to learn. That's a lot like I mean, that's the best way to learn anymore. Like I feel bad for our middle school selves and our high school selves that did not have the tutorials and we're like painting on our brows and we're like getting foundation that does not match our actual complexion. Oh, child, I wish that I had tutorials then. But we didn't then, and now we do. So we have a number of amazing resources to use that really are helpful. What are some of your favorite sustainable or hair related brands, either one, sustainable beauty hair related that you like to use?
Number one would be Kerastase for sure. And I'm not just saying that because I've worked with them. My contract ended like 2 years ago, guys. Like I love this brand. It is extreme. I'm gonna say it is expensive. Do I have some others on this list? But Kerastase for sure. I absolutely love all their products. Um, and then after that, I would say Amika. And Amika it isn't fully green, but they are like, what is the word called? They're ethically, like it's all ethical.
They're
Amika's all,
clean,
yeah,
cruelty free.
yeah, yeah. I think all these products are cruelty free, but not like organic or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, Amika would be up there, and I would say that's like you're spending like maybe $35 for shampoo as opposed to like 80 that Kerastase is, or 80 or 100 for Kerastase.
Right. Right.
Still like 35 is still expensive, but it's like I would say like they're right beside each other there. And then other than that, like Redken, I don't know. I use a lot of expensive stuff and it sucks because there's so a lot of money, but I'm trying to think what other good ones. Like Coco and Eve actually is really good. I love Coco and Eve. What else am I using right now? I'm using Redken right now. I love discovering like new brands. I
Yes.
always like just from getting PR. I don't know how it is in Minnesota, but in Toronto, like the PR scene is very big here. And I know Vancouver has a very big PR scene as well.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly getting products just for me to try out, like with no obligations to my door. So I haven't really like purchased any hair care or skincare or makeup in like forever. I have like no shame of saying that. I'm so thankful
Yeah.
for it. And I try everything out. If I don't like it, I just give it to my mom or my sister and let them pick through it, or some of my girlfriends.
Yeah. Why not?
Unless it's a product that I know I don't like, or I don't like that brand, then I'll probably just like donate it or something at that point. Um,
Mm.
but I love trying new brands and small brands and Canadian brands and like ethically sourced brands. So there's just so many. I'm constantly trying new things, but I still somehow always circle back to those brands, those two up there.
Right. See, my theory is that every woman is bougie about one thing in her life. I will spend more money on my hair than
Mm-hmm.
anything. Like that, like that's the one thing that I am willing to put money into. Like I just got a Dyson supersonic dryer.
And
And it's fabulous. It is fabulous. It's quick. It helps me keep moving in the morning. It does the job. I like, and I've had it what in June. I've had it for a year, and it's still perfect. It's everything Jen Atkins said it would be. Like, love it, love it, love it. I don't regret the purchase at all, even though it was expensive as hell. But my point is, I think every woman is bougie about one thing. For me, I am willing to spend on my hair. And it sounds like you're willing to
yeah,
spend on your hair. Is
yeah,
hair that one thing you're bougie about, or is there other things?
oh, that's it. They're 100%. Or like concert tickets. I spend so much money on music. Yeah.
Right, me too.
Like on myself, regarding myself. Listen, I'm turning 30 in like 2 weeks. It's no, sorry, not even. I'm turning 30 like next week. It sucks. I hate it so much. But
Why?
third, I don't know. I just like I feel like it's such a jarring number.
Yeah. Well, it is a jarring number. It is. I'm 33, so
Okay.
I can tell you we'll welcome you to the club. It's all good over here. You give a lot less of a shit when you hit 30. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of magic.
I've heard that 30s are the best. So that's what the vibe that I'm going for. Um, but yeah, no. So I was never into makeup growing up. Like I was
Mm.
always that girl that just like maybe had a powder foundation and wore mascara. And like that was
Right.
never really was super into it. And even to this day, I was never like really super into it. And it wasn't until like literally I started posting hair tutorials on TikTok, and my algorithm is all of a sudden like hair and beauty, and I'm watching all these fun makeup tutorials, and I'm like, oh, this looks like fun. I'm going to do it. So I thought, this is cool. I'm going to do like a makeup for beginners from a beginner, someone who's 30 and learning how to do makeup right now. We're going to learn together. So I
Right.
thought like making those videos would be fun, right? But yeah, like I never spent money on makeup, never spent it on really skincare or clothes or shoes. I was never a shoe girl. I'm
Right.
like pair Converse and I'm good to go. Bags, I'm usually like one purse. It's 100% hair care and like experiences, like concerts.
Let them
Yeah.
know that's how to do it. No wonder we vibed. I get it. I'm like, this makes sense now that I hear more of your own philosophy, especially with what you spend on. I'm like, all right, no wonder I hit follow. I get it now. So what is next for you? What can we look forward to?
I don't know. I kind of what can
That's
we look.
okay too.
I honestly like I just take it day by day. I never have like really an agenda of okay, I have to be in this place within the next 12 months. I have to be in this place mentally or like financially or anything along those lines. I never have been really that person other than,
Mm,
I do aim to be successful, but there's not like a certain place I wish to be in 5 years. You know what I mean?
right.
No, I kind of just I want to do a lot more video content, get my face out there a little bit more, talk to the camera, and YouTube. I'm really trying to push YouTube. I have so much fun with YouTube. So I'm really trying to push that, be a little bit more like show my personality a little bit more on my channels. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just kind of love life and take my audience with me. And if they tag along, then we're gonna have fun. And if you don't, that's cool too.
Yep. Let's go. Let's get it done. 2023. I love it so much. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm so excited. That was so fun.